President of the Republic is in Kuranga, the last step of his towers. For the international scene, who calls on Africa to wake up to the spread of the coronavirus. Welcome to our newsroom visit and proximity meeting of the President this morning in Kuranga, last leg of the presidential towers of the 5 regions of interior. The President, who wanted to listen to and discuss without intermediary with the Djiboutian populations outside the capital, was well received. Located in the northeast of the country, bordering Eritrea and Yemen by the sea, not far from the tourist island of Rassian, the locality of Korangar draws its main advantage from its access to the sea. This is why, under the direct impetus of the President of the Republic, the state of Djibouti has focused its support for the social development of this locality on projects related to the exploitations of fishery resources. Korangar in the region of Obokh, the last stage of the President Gelle's towers of proximity and social consultation, was a high point. The population welcomed President Gelle with fervor and enthusiasm in front of the schools of Korangar, a visit that allowed the President to exchange views on the situations of this small strategic locality located near Sian with the bridge where a major project is being carried out. The population of Korangar, young men and women, gave a warm welcome to the President of the Republic, accompanied by strong delegations including Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed. The population of all localities in Korangar sub-prefectures also welcomed the President. A group of camel drivers from the Korangar area welcomed the President and his delegation is at Badi Pace, a sub-prefecture, in spite of its remoteness, is endowed with maritime riches and magnificent beaches, mangrove forests that divine sight with the island of 7 brothers. It has a land borders with Eritrea and maritime border with Yemen, which is significant trade. A huge crowd composed of personalities and enormous people came to welcome the President of Djibouti, who mobilized the occasions in front of the school of Korangar in a sustained atmosphere of local folklore groups. Honors for the President his arrival at the last stage of his trip to the interior region. Korangar is known for its rich fish resources, and fishermen have offered the President several varieties of seafood. After the popular receptions this morning in Korangar, President Gelle, together with Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed and local authorities, held discussions and consultations on the situation and living conditions or needs of people of Korangar. The exchange started with an introduction by the President Gelle, who thanked the population for their warm welcome. Our tower, he said, to Korangar, the last ones in the region, is of a capital importance for us. He said, with meetings and exchanges with all the actions of civil society of Korangar, the youth, elders, we want you to share with us your satisfactions, but also your needs. The sub-prefectures of Korangar has the particularity of being rich in fishing resources and tourist potentialities with magnificent divine size, very attractive for tourists. Already some Chinese developers have launched a tourist project in Rassian, and family believe that this will benefit the populations of these prefectures. He urged to accompany development project by welcoming the initiator of the investor, and the realizations of the ongoing project will have a positive impact on the development of Korangar. After the introductionist war, the floor was given to the people, and the population of Kolanga was made explicit and detailed. After having reviewed the achievement, the representative of the population of Kolanga raised the difficulties of access to water and the situations of the fishing corporation of Korangar, whose capacity have been reinforced with the granting of materials, but which still faces difficulties of conservation and high cost of petrol. A woman's representative raised the rural exodus caused by the lack of a college and the lack of a youth development structure. In his reply, President Gill announced that the problem of access to the river will be solved with the construction of a borehole in Bosali and a Bisidiru project that will supply the entire cost. The health situations will be improved with the provision of an ambulance for the localities. The second part of the questions and answer will focus on the situations of disabled in the region of Obok, the development and protections of maritime resources, agropastoralism, in particular the Sadai Wadi, and the representative of disabled Aisha Muhammad Suleki call for capacity buildings for the disabled with a quota for housing, employment, opportunities, means of transport. As for Ibrahim Umar Ali, president of Obok Cooperative, he wants back over the achievement in these files in the region of Obok with strong fishing and tourist potentiality. He underlined that Obok does not take advantage of this windfall due to the lack of preparations of local tourist operators. Concerning fishing, he asked for the returns of fuel subsidies and cold storage room for the conservation of fish. Maiki Ali Maiki of Asasan Sulali Cooperative consider that the Sadai Dam, whose works have been finalized, has not yet given the expected result in fodders and agropastoral production. The network will be rehabilitated and installed in less than a week, and for the college we will study the conditions that will allow us to make this project a reality. The president responded to the special needs youth by reminding her that all their needs will be in the hands of the National Agency for Disabled People. You have a chair in public housings across the countries, further reassuring the head of state. As far as employment is concerned, the prefect of the regions will do his best to hire as many people with special need as possible. In addition, you have Mr. Luale knocking on every door so to find the equipment necessary for your various forms of disability, concluded President Gele regarding fishing and tourism, and responding to the president of the fishing cooperative, Ibrahim Omar Ali. The president asked to recommend that to take advantage of all the opportunity that the sea offers you in the region to monitor your sea areas for the illegal fishing. The president promised the renewal of the gas subsidy for Obok's fishermen. The Chinese promoter has invested in Russian with opportunities for the local population. Obok region is rich in fish and seafood and is an inexhaustible resources of seafood as a mouth of the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean for the population in Asasan and on the banks of Wadi Sadai. The president believes that the land is rich and that water is available, that families should make the most of the working the land. President Gele praised the effort to enhance the banks of the Wadi Sadai with the constructions of the dam. As in other regions of interior, a meeting of exchanges and consultation took place yesterday afternoon at the chief town of Obok region. The president of the republic and the elders traditional chief of the Obok region in the sessions of debate and formulations of grievances gave the opportunity to the customary chief and representative of the various locality to present unequivocally the daily concerns and difficulties encountered in the respective locality. Water, health, education, road were at the head of the fruitful discussions that the head of state had with the customary chief of the region. The President of the Republic, first of all, introduced to the peoples of his regional tower, which aims to listen and exchange with his fellow citizens in order to refocus the various reforms undertaken for the socio and economic development of the countries and to improve the living conditions of the population. The head of state stressed the president also commended the effort made by traditional chiefs in the process of good governance and the important role that they play in the well-being of society based on solidarity, fraternity, and pacification. The elders of the region did not fail to describe their concern, including access to drinking water, the establishments of canteens in the rural schools, the constructions of road linking the various localities in order to harmonize travel but also health, where they stressed the urgent need for certain localities. The President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, began by thanking the elders for the warm welcomes extended to him and his delegation. The head of state commended that the commitment and commendable effort of the customary chief while praising the objectives and constructive manners in which the elders expressed themselves before his president in order to find an optimal solutions to their concern. Water, health, education, and roads are all our priority. Since the country's independence, the President of the Republic recalled, without forgetting the many efforts made by him and his government in these areas. The government has not ceased to increase effort to reduce the suffering of our fellow citizens due to the lack of drinking water. The government has carried out several boreholes in localities, but we must respond and continue the fight against thirst, stress, the head of state. On the other hand, the President of the Republic gave a favorable opinion on the recommendations related to the setting up of canteens in rural schools, which some localities do not have. The President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, also gave a favorable opinion on the grievance expressed by the customary chief, in particular the constructions of the tarry roads or tracks. The head of state said he was convinced that the Djibouti Roads Agency would transfer some of its power to the work regions in order to begin road rehabilitations and construction work in the region's locality. He stressed the need to strengthen all the necessary mechanisms to launch road rehabilitation and construction work in the Obok region.
sous-préfecture awood meel ay wax ka cunaan ma haystaan iskool rural markaad samayso bilaa canteen c'est oui canteen qu'on ugu darayno les macabre ont demandé un lieu qui leur permette d'être hébergés pendant leur séjour à Obok, comme on a fait à Diki.
The Minister of Health, Mohamed Warsama Diriye, received in his office the General Managers of CAC International Bank, Mr. Ahmed Hamid Adlaid, as a part of the receipt of a check for 20 million Djibouti franc granted by the bank in support of the effort of response against the coronavirus. The Ministers of Health described the bank's commitment as a patriotic act that will strengthen the capacity of his department to block the COVID-19 virus. He also hoped that companies in the sector will follow suit in mobilizing funds, which is a prerequisite for the full success of the national response to the coronavirus in Djibouti. The director of CAC International Bank, Mr. Ahmed Hamid Adlaid, handed over the check for 20 million Djibouti franc in the hand of the Ministry of Health in the presence of the Secretary General of Health Department, Dr. Saleh Benoita Turab. In his speech, the Minister of Health, Mohamed Warsama Diriye, thanked the Director General of CAC International Bank, Mr. Ahmed Hamid Al-Daib, on his own behalf, on behalf of the government of Djibouti, for his precious donations, which comes at a precious time. The first ordinary sessions of the year 2020 of the municipality of Pulaus took place last Monday in the large meeting room of headquarters of UNFD in Djibouti, placed under the aegis of the president of this municipality of the Djiboutian capital, Mohamed Omar Ismail. The event brought together on the spot all the local elected officials of Pulaus to discuss the various projects of municipalities that have been in the framework of the development plan of the city, Djibouti. The meeting, organized by the municipality of Pulaus, was attended by Secretary General of the Secretary of State for Decentralization, Mohamed Issa Faraj, the Mayor of the Djibouti City, Fatuma Awale Osman, the Secretary General of UNFD, Hassan Ahmed Fatuma Musa Abdi, and several parliamentarians, sub-prefect of three district of the municipality, and the president of the councils of the various districts in the area. For the international scene, World Health Organization calls on Africa to wake up to coronavirus progression. The Director General of the World Health Organization has called the new coronavirus an enemy of humanity, which issue warnings to African countries. World Health authorities called on Africa to wake up to the threat of the new coronavirus, stressing that the continent must prepare for the worst. More than 200,000 cases have been reported to the WHO, and more than 3,000 people have lost their lives, including a child. World Health Organization's Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said on Wednesday at a virtual press conference, stressing that more than 18% of cases have been reported in Europe and West Pacific. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.